I wouldn't be surprised if it actually was named in one of those documents, because you got to remember, we got the Virginia Fusion Center document, and then we had two nationally distributed DHS documents, but the localized Virginia one was 215 pages long and literally named almost every organization and admitted that they had been surveilled for quite some time, even though they hadn't committed any crimes or plotted any acts of violence or terrorism that they're so willing to lump in there, because everything is terrorism and everybody's an extremist. And even though, you're part of a leaderless resistance movement right now, Ernest, I mean, you could be a subversive. I'm just so glad that people are waking up. They are taking action. And like you said, it is very inspiring to see people step up to the plate and have the will to actually do something. Not just talk about it, not be an armchair quarterback, take part in something that can change lives.
Well, we've been doing this we were on their first list. Back in '94 when they created the FBI, I was out of Phoenix here, so they had their, constitutionalists need to be watched, and it was the same thing, and it came out of, the Southern Poverty
Law Center. They're the ones that continue to, they continue to demonize us here at InfoWars, and of course, everything we do. And Lou Dobbs is a bad person now, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. They're pretty disgusting people all the way around.
No, they're just a function of the machine. I mean, this is once you've been doing this for a long time, and just like Alex is very sensitive to this, it's a psyop. These guys have been I've been through this since '89. I've seen it go round and round. That's why they call it revolution. It just keeps coming around. Well, I'm telling you, we're built up to a big revolution, and they're having to make sure that anyone that they believe that's in opposition to their ruling us has to be on some kind of list so that they can be rounded up, if they ever get the guts to do it later. And I don't think it's really, bravery or courage on their part. It's just desperation. They're going to be in a situation to where they are going to, see the pitchforks and torches coming towards them, and they're going to act out of desperation. But what they have to count on is they have to count on law enforcement and the military to do their bidding. And if you have like the Russian Revolution, where you have people, tank commanders just not willing to fire on the people, will that happen here in America?
Well, I think that the reason that is an important point to make is because they are bringing more foreign troops in who may be willing to pull the trigger. NLE 09, National Level Exercise 09, that's going to take place at the end of July into the beginning of August, takes place with international forces, the UK, Australia, Canada, Mexico, and then FEMA Region 6, and it is based on a terrorist attack occurring overseas. And then FEMA's heading up this drill, by the way, and it's incorporated with DHS. And then when they come to the United States, they're going to integrate all local, state, federal, and even tribal governments into this, as well as private sectors, make makeshift FEMA centers and military bases. And I think that that's what this is. This is to try to get local law enforcement used to the idea of working with all these other entities and just letting them know the sovereignty's over, Constitution's over, Bill of Rights is over. We might have to quarantine people. We might have to do a domestic takeover. And I pray to God more people wake up, especially on the inside, so they don't allow that to occur.
Well, here in Arizona, we were kind of prepped for this. You got to keep in mind that Jack McLam, which was a Phoenix police officer here, had the Aid and Abet newsletter, which was police and military against the New World Order back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And, started in the early 90s, I became aware of him, and I've interviewed him on my radio show in a 4-part series that, just went from the beginning to end. And he was very specific about that, Vampire Killer 2000, the book that they had created, and all this information was sooner or later, local law enforcement is going to be the tip of the spear for this New World Order. And he's like warning them. He's saying, look, take your oath seriously. Here it comes. Don't get caught in this. Then in the mid-90s, they had the multi-jurisdictional task force thing that they kept amping up. That came in with Clinton, and Sheriff Joe Arpaio gets all kinds of press, and he's a hardcore, toughest sheriff kind of. He was DEA for a decade and a half. This guy is part of it. He's just walking it right in. So this was, in fact, that pamphlet that we found out about they were doing, like their watch lists are doing now, came from a deputy at the sheriff's department that sent it to us. We were the ones that broke that back when we had a workshop back in the mid-'90s. You know, we've been libertarian activists for a long time. So this is just nothing new to us. We've been going through this. You know, we have Napolitano's now head of the Homeland Defense Gestapo. She was our governor here. And before that, she was U.S. attorney. You know, and she was attorney general, and she was criminal defense attorney for a lawmaker that was caught taking a bribe on videotape.
Well, there's no doubt that Napolitano is
her co-chief of staff.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Napolitano is bought and paid for, and part of this elite establishment, and really a minion for them, or she wouldn't be where she is. I mean, she's the successor to Michael Chertoff, who is just an outward demon. We'll be back. Final segment with Ernest Hancock. We are Change Arizona, freedomphoenix.com. All right, folks, we are back. It's the Info Warrior. TheInfoWarrior.com is my website, and it used to be my YouTube channel until they pulled it today with no reason or purpose other than to censor Alex Jones and everybody around him, as well as InfoWars and Prison Planet. So we are asking you to give them a call. Can you put it up on the screen for me? I think it's, 653? Oh, no, that's not it right there. There we go. It is 650-253-0000, 650-253-0000. Call them up. Tell them how displeased that you are that they would go out and carte blanche. Just take off every channel that has anything to do with Alex Jones or myself. I mean, the majority of the videos posted there are just this show. I don't own my own content. It's not original content. I don't understand what's going on. So again, give YouTube a call and raise hell. We're talking to Ernest Hancock of We Are Change Arizona. FreedomPhoenix.com is the website. They've been handing out thousands of DVDs to ASU campus. They're going to continue to do so tomorrow, and then Obama's going to be there May 13th. What are the plans for May 13th, Ernest?
You know, a lot of the guys, they want to be out there and do whatever they can to keep spreading the message. I like having all of the work done before he even gets there. You know, all the mines being inspected, all the banners out, the radio playing, the DVDs in their hands, and having a big run. We have, newspapers that have been doing interviews on campus and so on. So by the time that he even comes, the majority effect already there. But of course, it's always good for them to enjoy themselves and have a good time out there at Sun Devil Stadium passing out stuff. But you know what's going to happen. The big bad guys are not going to be pleased with that, and that's why I like getting all the information out beforehand, because once an individual gets this information, how do you unlearn the truth? And it's, the revolution, that was one of our slogans, we know the truth. And that's a very, very, very powerful thing. Now, what's going to happen, I'm afraid that anyone that goes to Sun Devil Stadium, they're going to have to go through an anal probe, on steroids to even get in because of, of course, the president being there and then all the other stuff that we're doing. So we haven't tried to coordinate anything, but they're coordinating on their own. They have all kinds of different plans of being at different intersections and passing out stuff and wearing shirts and throwing shirts and doing all kinds of stuff. And I encourage and help and print and do whatever they need to do to go have fun. So
well, I hope they also arm themselves with video cameras, because that really is the weapon of choice in the info war. Make sure they have some handheld cameras. Maybe they have some people in the backdrop that aren't really handing out the stuff, maybe aren't dressed like everybody else, so they can get things on camera once their cameras are taken. Really, that is, in my opinion, one of our biggest tools and weapons in this info war.
Way ahead of you, man. It's the biggest weapon that they have today. A lot of the new guys, I'm 48 years old, so I've been doing this a while. And the big thing that a lot of people don't know is that the weapon that the bad guys have more than anything else, because they really are limited on the arrows in their quiver, is fear. They want you to be intimidated. They'll, bolster up to you and, and demand and all this kind of stuff. But when you got a video camera standing there, and then another one taking a video of the guy with the video camera, and another one taking a video of the guy holding the video, taking a video of the video camera, there's really not a whole lot they can get away with without really good provocation, justification, which they don't have. So the more that they act like thugs, really the better it goes to demonstrating how thuggish they are. So
you better watch yourself, though, when you post it on YouTube. It could be subversive, and they may just take it off. I mean, they like to do that over there.
I'm really interested in that, and I'm sure your audience would like to hear the summary of that. they just blanket just took yours off. They just said,
listen, mine was up today. I had blogged on the Info Warrior just this video that had gone viral from a caller the other day, right? It had over 6,000 views, and then I go to press play when I came back to work, and all of a sudden it's gone. And then I'm looking through the comments, and they had pulled, the comments said that they pulled everything. And I said, no, they couldn't have pulled the whole channel. We didn't get any emails saying that we did anything wrong to copyright infringe. They just said because I was associated with Alex Jones, they're pulling everything, and they just totally and completely disabled the Info Warrior channel today.
You know what this means? I've been through this before, and I'll tell you what it means. What happens is it comes down to the fact